What is up, guys? It is Nundark. Yes, this is part two, part dose of my collection video, my massive, in length collection video. It ended up being 2.5 hours long, so I had to do two parts. This is part two. If you haven't seen part one, definitely pause this, bookmark it, come back to this, go watch part one. Part one is going to be the last video I posted a couple days ago, and yeah, it is all my slabs. It is all my grails. It is my display cabinet of higher end cards and cards I like to kind of show off in the main room. It is my red vintage hollow binder. It's my current pursuit within my PC, right? A lot of what's in this room and a lot of what's going to be covered in this video is stuff I've had from my childhood, things I find in garage sales, a couple master sets, slabs, or cards I put on my walls that certainly have a meaning. You're still going to want to see this. This room is like obviously loaded with a ton of things, and I think it's going to be really cool. I always enjoy getting a sneak peek into people's collection. This video is going to be nothing short of that. That being said, I'd be remiss not to tell you that most of my high-end cards, slabs, and actually really most of my collecting focus right now is covered in part one. It is the red vintage hollow binder. It's getting a copy of every single WotC vintage hollow. It's some of my favorite modern cards. It's some of my higher end slabs. It is what would be quote unquote the cooler, portion of the collection. A lot of what you're going to see here is still a ton of stuff and sealed product and things that are going to be cool. But it's more niche. It's more me. It's more things that matter to me. So that's just a breakdown of the two. Go watch part one. If you haven't seen it, if you have and you're here for part two, thank you. I hope this part two is just as fun of a watch as part one was. It will definitely go over a lot of things, and hopefully bring back a lot of memories for you of things that you used to collect or have in your collection. And maybe it's going to show you a couple things that you now want to add to your collection. I hope it does that for you. But yeah, thank you for making it to part two if you watch part one. If not, go watch part one. Nonetheless, it was a massive video to make, so I had to split it into two parts. Thank you for being here for part two. And now, without further ado, let's get to everything that is in this room. All right, you guys, so for starters, I just kind of want to show you how the room is laid out. So when you walk in the room, the back display is what you guys mostly see on camera, and it's got a majority of, my binders, product, sealed product, old ETBs, trinkets, a majority of my collection, right? Other than what I've just showed you, right? The red binder is right there. And then the display cabinets outside. Then I just got my desk here, a couple other trinkets. And then here's that display wall for some slabs. So that kind of sits right there. And I normally record here. Obviously there's the jersey, playmat. And then I do have these wall displays, which we'll get into first. But yeah, that's just kind of a general lay of the land there. Pokemon ornaments on a tree, some plushies. We'll get into everything. This will be a little bit quicker and less card by card drawn out, just because I understand that most of this stuff means more to me than it will to you. But I wanted to give everyone a look through my entire collection, which is this room. So, okay, so there's the slabs. I do love this card. I don't know why. It just makes me very happy. Just kind of to see a happy family and a Pikachu onesie on a kid. All right. So these three card displays that are mounted to my wall, obviously they can't be sleeved and protected. They're just put into these plastic trays. So these aren't going to be the most valuable cards. They're just going to be cards that either mean something to me or make a cool display, right? And I got these at Michael's. So I'll move my chair here, and we'll start with the right. This one I probably look at the most. The top two rows are Japanese hollows. I'm trying to see maybe how I can make the light the best. Yeah, that kind of works. Let's turn that light off for now. Okay, so these Japanese hollows in the top two rows are cards I had from my childhood. Allegedly, I opened Japanese booster packs, probably from collection boxes, like at Toys R Us. So these are Japanese hollows. You know, not in the greatest condition, but just really, really cool, iconic arts and cool to have. Then as you get down here, there's obviously 2 more. And then you get into 2 of the other prints of the Machamp. So the Legendary Collection, and then the non-shadowless first edition stamped Machamp. This one might actually be the one from the theme deck. That's still what I don't know, but there's 3 prints of this Machamp. This Phoebe card is just, in my opinion, the most like gorgeous trainer card ever. So I just really like the aesthetic of the Phoebe card, and the color just really pops. So that one I just display because I like it a lot. Okay, these 3 cards do mean a lot to me because these are the 3 hits from my first ever Obsidian Flames Elite Trainer box, which got me back into Pokemon. I took a 10+ year hiatus from the EX era all the way to 2023, right? I've been doing this now for about, maybe it was 2022, but this has like only been a 2 or 3 year journey. This whole collection, everything you see in this video is essentially a 2 to 3 year journey. And this ETB that netted me these 3 hits got me back into it, and we went in head first, obviously, as you guys can see. But this Pidgey, the Packer Pidgey, this Glamour EX Full Art, and then this T-Tar. I mean, at some point here, I will have to do a live reaction of my first ever video recording of opening that ETB. I knew nothing. I knew nothing about modern Pokemon. I didn't know what was a good rarity and what wasn't. I went strictly off of what I saw and what hyped me up. And it is probably hilarious to watch. I reacted to this thing like it was a base set first edition Charizard. so those will always be displayed. And then I am in construction for work. So that's another, I like Pokemon in the human world and seeing kind of how we'd use them. So just the Steelix construction site Manlift is a really, really cool card for me. And then Pokemon Day 2025, this Eevee. So that's the first display. These are all the Scarlet and Violet promos. I understand there's a few I'm missing, but this basically is 95% of them and ones that can fit. So these are from the Elite Trainer boxes. As you guys know, I open all the Elite Trainer boxes. It is my way of tasting the set, going through the card list, having just a chance, 9-pack chance at pulling a hit or something, and just kind of getting a feel for flipping through the set. Yeah, it's my fun way of every time a set comes out, just grabbing an ETB, getting a taste of what the set is, and then I display the ETBs and I pull out the promos. So that's my promo, Scarlet and Violet one, and then this one's a little different. This is some autographed and more nostalgic hockey cards from my childhood. This card was actually signed at a concert, a Dayseeker concert by the band. After Nate and I opened cards, and after, I think this is actually an Eevee card, which is his daughter's name, but this was the night we pulled the Giratina from a Lost Origin booster box. Then you have some of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, some of my favorite, most nostalgic Yu-Gi-Oh cards from my childhood. Still a part of me that I want to remember and cherish, but I'm not currently into, right? So 2 rows of Yu-Gi-Oh and then 1 row of Neopets. I was so addicted to Neopets, it's not even funny. The computer game, the cards, the trinkets, right? Scorpio, Raikou. I was everything about the Neopet cards, and I actually knew how to play the game. I mean, yeah, so just I picked out my 5 favorite and put them there. This is more like memories and nostalgia on the wall. Okay, then obviously some ornaments, Labubu on my tree, and other things like that. Here's George, my gorilla, from my, I believe, my 1-year-old birthday. Okay, plushies up there, Mr. Potato Head, the giant Eevee pop. What is it? A pop, what are those called? Yeah, Pop Series figures. I have a little Pikachu one over here. And then I have the big Eevee. So I just bought that at Target. I thought it was cool, and I'm going to keep it sealed. All right, Scarlet and Violet era ETBs right here. Not all of them, but almost all of them. There's a couple like Champion's Path with the Charizard that I'm missing. but I do have one of the two Evo Skies variants, and the Celebrations right there. Again, all these are opened. Yes, some of you are going to be like, what were you thinking when you opened all those? But again, I open them every 3 months when the set comes out, right? And at the time of opening these, everything you see here was $40 to $50 and readily available. So it's different than the $200+ per ETB market we're in now. This is a Celebrations display box that I use to keep my jumbo cards, right? The Victini in there. I think there's like a Friends of Paldea that I really like. I don't know why I need to show you guys that one. Oh yeah, Terapagos and Friends with the Gen 9 starters. But yeah, that's where I display my jumbo cards. And then you have a Sword and Shield UPC. I believe a couple of them, again, opened, but all kind of sum up my experience with Sword and Shield. Okay, then you get to my sealed product. So 2 shelves of sealed product, nothing crazy. I do have the Celebrations Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box right here. This is climbing in value and will continue to climb as we approach the 30th anniversary. So that's all that's in there. And that's that. Sharing that shelf is 2 copies of the Tag Team Pikachu and Zekrom GX box, which has 5 Chilling Rain packs, 3 Evolving Skies, this awesome Pikachu Zekrom Gold promo, and then 2 other Sword and Shield packs. So really, really high-end box and a tag team. So this is kind of my more like high-end sealed product shelf. And then down here, I just have the Black Bolt and White Flare Victini box. And then a poster collection from both 151 and Prismatic Evolutions. And then my coworker actually got me these Dragon Ball Z. I honestly don't, it's been a while since I've watched Dragon Ball. I don't know what they're called. Dragon Ball Z balls. But I kind of like them, and I like how they display. So those fit well there. Down here, I just have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to just not really highlight. It's more for me than for anyone. But there's the London World Championships 2022. The 2022 London Champions box, a Pikachu Eevee puzzle. This is a stack of unique Eevee cards right here that I'm going to turn into a frame for my goddaughter. But it is like almost every Eevee print ever. Right? That's an exaggeration, but it is like 75 of them. And then these are cards that I have to ship to Nate and Pygon that are theirs. And I'm going to give Pygon this Snorlax because Snorlax is his favorite Pokemon. Okay, down here is just code cards, bulk energies, deck boxes. This box right here. I will show this box. This case is everything I bring to shows that I'm selling. So when I go to shows, I like to buy inventory on the first day to have even more to sell. But I have slabs in here, right? Houndoom in a 9. Japanese Zapdos SAR in a 10 from 151. Erica's Invitation SAR. Bianca's Sincerity SAR. Lily's Clefairy Raw. I mean, there's a lot here. We do not need to go through all of it. There's so many nice vintage and modern cards in here. Let's see what's in this stack. Yeah, Celebi V, Team Rocket EX, Team Rocket's Mewtwo, Sandy Shock from Prismatic Evolutions SAR or SIR. Same with this Iron Crown. Hyper Rare Cynthia's Garchomp. Dark Raichu with a swirl. Ends Reshiram, not the box topper. Blossom from Neogenesis, Metagross. So yeah, some pretty nice cards. And then obviously a ton of like $10 ones. And then more slabs here. Skarmory First Edition in an 8 from Neogenesis. This one I'll just give to a kid for free. Shout out Christian, who gave me that. Misty's Lapras Japanese in a 10. And Misty's Psyduck in a 9. So those are all cards that I'm just going to bring to the show and I use when I vend. So we'll push this all to the side and I'll put this back. All right, so that was the right side. We'll do the middle last because there's the most there, contrary to what you might think. But the left side up here basically just has that special Japanese box, a McDonald's, what basically came in the McDonald's Happy Meals in 2024, maybe 2025. Yeah, earlier this year. Some metal and promo cards and some of those Charizard and Gyarados stands, a Carnival State Fair Charizard plush. Here's every Scarlet and Violet ETB in these stacks right here. I have some of the other variants that couldn't fit in the back, but that is every ETB and set from Scarlet and Violet era, and then a couple UPCs. This, in fact, is the UPC that my wife and I pulled our first Charizard in. I told you that took like 200 packs and 15 of these UPCs. We signed it, marked it, dated it. May the 4th be with you. So about a year and a half ago, we pulled our Charizard, and I think that's just really a really cool memory, something I want to always display. And then the other shelves are personal, right? Wedding, travel, patches from all over the world, national parks, photo albums, etc. But this one shelf here means a ton to me. This is my Pikachu shelf. I adore Pikachu. I'm a Pikachu collector. One day I want to have a copy of every Pikachu card ever. So this is all Pikachu. So you can just see it on the screen. I'm not going to go through everything. These are the Series 1. These are full sets and stacks, actually, of the Premier Collection art box, like holographic shimmering evolution tiles. And I do have all of them. So at least from that set, this set is the Series 1 ones that I do not have all of. But I keep those there. I think those are really cool. Some are from childhood. Some my cousin, shout out M, picked up at a garage sale and gave to me. Then I do have some Pikachu Vacations, Topps cards and things like that here. Holographic Venusaur, holographic Diglett right there. Some stickers. 3D printed Bulbasaur, just really, really cool things. All the dice from the ETBs, the Time Pikachu edition of the 25 years of Pokemania. Over here is the Squirtle and Charmander, but you can collect like all 8 or 10 covers. And I put the Pikachu one, obviously, with all the other Pikachu stuff, all my trinkets. I actually got this like random build display while in New York City, where you kind of pulled a random one. It could have been any Pokemon, not just Pikachu, and I happened to get, I forget what Pokemon this is. Someone let me know in the comments, please. But I did get the one that it's like a broken wall street fair scene, and it had Pikachu in it. So just very, very fitting. Obviously makes the shelf. Some sealed Pez dispensers, a original base set Pikachu jumbo card, and then what I think is the, and then I'll just quickly show some of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Red Eyes B Dragons, Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is Exodia Master of the Guard. And then B Skull Dragon was probably one of the cards I remember most, along with the Great Moth. And then just a bunch of other really cool Yu-Gi-Oh cards, that the Harpy Lady. Just, yeah, ones that I like to keep top loaded and keep on a shelf. Okay. One of the coolest things. And then I just always, I pulled that fortune right after vending and thought it was very timely. So I just keep that there, learn to negotiate effectively and respectfully. Okay, this signed World Championships 2024 box. So I'm going to pull this out, but if you guys remember me showing you this 2022 London World Champions deck, for every winner of Worlds, they basically memorialized their deck that they won with into those boxes. And you'll see here, Evan Pavelski won the senior champion from, obviously, USA Won the Senior Champion 2024 Worlds. There's a picture of him, and that's his signature. He is from, I believe he's from Minnesota, but I do know for a fact that he plays competitively and recreationally at my local game store, Game Related, in Oakdale, Minnesota. So this is a sealed box. So shout out Game Related, and all the proceeds, they do a really cool thing where all the proceeds from buying the sealed box go to pay for his future World's Championships travel. So this was 2024. And kind of backstory, the reason I wanted this is to support Evan, and then to support, Game Related, one of my favorite stores in town, support of him. And then also Hawaii is very important to me. My family and I travel there often, so we have a lot of Hawaii memories, and I have been to Honolulu. So I like Pikachu. I love this display. I snorkel a ton. I have a soft spot in my heart for Hawaii. And then this happens to be one of my local card stores, and he plays there. So not only does he play there, but he went to he went to Honolulu in 2024, won the senior division, right? And there's 2 of each deck. There's 4 divisions in Worlds, and there's 2 copies sealed of each of the winners' decks. So you have senior, you have, I'm sure you have junior, and then what he evolved, pun intended, up to in Anaheim 2025 is Masters division. So I do not believe he won that, but Game Related, through proceeds of selling boxes like these, paid for his travel to get to Anaheim 2025 World Championships. So I just think the story behind it's so cool. I think the fact that I didn't know what these decks were, and I knew that they were a thing. But now I have a sealed case of all the winners' decks signed by one of the winners, picked up from the store at which he plays competitively in and recreationally. And it's a store I frequent and purchase cards from and know the owner, Tony, very well. Like, this is one of the highlights and coolest pieces in my collection, far and away. So that is that. I just really wanted to go more into detail about this piece. And for those of you wondering, this was $150. So these retail for about $20 a piece. You do have 8 of them in there. I'm sure they can go for like 10 to 15. They are not real cards. They are copies of the actual decks. However, they do each come with a pin and a coin and things like that. But that is not why I got it. It is just to support him and support my shop, and also to kind of rep the Honolulu Worlds signed by one of the winners. So that goes right here on my Pokemon shelf. And now we will get to the middle. The middle is full of cards and full of things Pokemon. Obviously, Pikachu is front and center there. You have 2 other copies of the Time magazine. Obviously, we submit to PSA, and we're members of PSA. And with that comes the monthly magazine subscription. Some are One Piece, some are Marvel, some are Yu-Gi-Oh! But whenever they feature Pokemon, I like to display them. I'll just go through quickly the cards that I singled out to display. My cousin customized a Pokemon card of my cat. So Kevin the Girl Cat, featured in many of my videos, is now a Pokemon card. This is one of my favorite trainer cards ever, mostly because of my love for Paldea Evolved, which featured this Iono, but it was really big in competitive play. Was actually part of the reason the boxes were so fun to open, is you actually hoped to pull these and Jet Energies to help pay for the cost of the box, because they were at one point going for like $3 to $4 a piece. Then they came out with this regional championships stamped version of the Iono, reverse hollow, and this is now like $20 to $30. So I do have a lot of different Iono prints, which is all on this stack: Japanese, English, reverse hollow, stamped. But this happens to be the regional championship one, and one that I coincidentally bought from Tony at Game Related, the shop owner of the shop I just talked about. So that's displayed. Then this is my favorite pack art of all time, both the color and Misty being my favorite trainer. So this is a first edition non-hollow near mint Misty from Gym Heroes, next to the matching pack art first edition Gym Heroes pack. Not a pack of which I opened, but a pack art gifted to me by Frank. I had a turtle growing up, shout out Freddy. So I've always loved Squirtle. And then these are the two heavy packs that netted us the Vaporeon and Articuno first edition cards that I went over in my display cabinet. But I will always keep and cherish these packs for the memories. And then the Bulbasaur himself, someone who I look up to in the hobby and in the YouTube space, signed this card for me. The card itself is signed, and I bought this and a Squirtle from him, a couple shirts, did a coin flip. Yeah, so really cool that I have a Bulbasaur signed by the Bulbasaur. So I will always cherish that and display that. I will probably look to get that graded in my next submission and have the signature authenticated along with this Ancient Mew. I graded our childhood copy, my brother and I's childhood copy, and gave that to him. It actually hit might be a 1. It's either a 1 or a 2. And I gave that to him for Christmas along with a Oranguru gold card because that's like one of his favorite Pokemon, which is hilarious. But I picked this one up. This legitimately, you guys, has a chance at 10ing. There is nothing wrong with it. The centering is flawless. There is no whitening. And the holo is so clean. So I'm going to submit this along with the Bulbasaur card and probably some others just to slab what I display so it's not just in top loaders. I don't know. I'm always torn between like, if I'm just going to keep it for me and for the memories, why pay to slab it? Unless I'm ever going to sell it and try to have those cards authenticated and raise their value. But then on the other hand too, like I hate having cards like this that are so important and minty, not in a slab. So I don't know. I do like the authentication and PSA slab process. But just something I kind of battle with, right? Like I'm not looking to make a play on that Iono. I'm not looking to make a play on that Misty. But like to have a signed Bulbasaur card in a PSA slab authenticated would just be so cool. So I think that is something I'm just going to pull the trigger on. But yeah, that's the Ancient Mew by the Mewtwo PSA cover. We'll get to some of these cards next, and then we'll get to my binders, and we'll be done. All right, guys, we'll be very quick here with the end of the middle section, right? So we went through the left, we went through the right. The end of the middle, I have a lot of things to still sort, and in prepping for this video, I at least got them sorted into like-minded stacks, but now I need to figure out how to binder them and what to do with them. The entirety of this stack is all of the Eevee cards. Oh no, I already went through that. That is over there. Okay, this one is all promos and low-valued cards that I just like and want to have for my collection. Oranguru, brother's favorite Pokemon. Random Exodia cards like his right arm, Seadra, just cool cards that are literally like all under $10 that I just think are cool and eventually do need to binder them. These, here, we'll go stack by stack. All right, let's figure out a way where light does not disrupt us here. All right, these are all of the cards I didn't choose to grade, but are all the original cards from the 2 heavy packs I opened. First edition Fossil, first edition Jungle, commons and uncommons. I didn't choose to grade these ones, but I wanted to keep them together to, again, remember opening those 2 epic packs. So that's this stack. And actually, I'll do a quick knockdown of this. So, I mean, just random promos, right? Here's a couple Exodia body parts, this Juniper, or Professor's Research, Toolbox, Phoebe, I love Phoebe, couple Orangurus, I like to hike, so I got trekking shoes, just literally, you guys, random plasma cards, like a woolly mammoth, sweet little Charizard Spirit Link, pulled this one, gosh, what was this even from? Oh yeah, my Destined Rivals, or Glory of Team Rocket booster box in Indianapolis. Yeah, so that's kind of that stack. And then I just went through the first edition cards. This stack here is other cards that, you know, celebrations. These are actually Spanish base set from a buddy of mine. There's a Blastoise in there. Celebrations cards, some promos from my childhood that are damaged and didn't make the red hollow binder, but I don't want to get rid of. Some Entei, and then some newer promos, Pokemon Day promo, some of the Evolutions, Master Balls. I mean, just cards that I want to keep that, again, don't have a ton of value, that are just, I need to figure out what to do with them. Then, and honestly, guys, I'm just going to go through these quick. This stack is all my foreign language cards. Whether it's Japanese, Italian, German, French, these are all Pokemon cards in other languages that at some point I need to create just like and these are all from my childhood. It's crazy how many like different languages of packs I opened as a kid, but these need to all go in one binder. So those are all kept there. This is every energy card ever printed, so from all different eras, and then all different energy types, including a couple like rares, non-hollow rare ones. So that is that stack. Here are random promos, and I don't even honestly know what set that is, but it's a tiny subset. Team Aqua, Team Magma. Let's see if I can do it this way. Yeah. This is like the Latios symboled micro set. See the red there. So someone please let me know in the comments. Again, there's still so much even within my collection that I've yet to learn, and yet I still appreciate them. So like the appreciation only is going to grow over time, especially with the more I know. But I would be curious what set that is. Okay, then I have some base set 2 cards here, commons and uncommons, but need to be bindered. Love that Farfetch'd. Absolutely one of my favorite arts of all time. The like painting artist Farfetch. Okay, so those are that. Here are my, I alluded to this earlier. Let's get out of the sun or the light. You're not outside in undark, shape up. A lot of different Ionos. Here's the play stamp one. Actually from the Iono collection box, I believe the milk crate. Then you have the Jet Energies, Paldea Evolve promos. I sold most of my Paldea Evolve cards except those 2 pages, but some of these like stamped promos, I don't want to get rid of them. I like the memories of kind of being a Paldea master setter at one point. And yeah, just some promos, some cards, some Lily's Pearls. Yeah, so that's that one. We have 2 more. These are all, oh, this will actually be cool. These 2 will be cool. These are all Bulbasaur arts. Vintage Bulbasaur artwork, some modern, and then you have Charmander and Charmeleon evolution line. Like hollows are in there. E-readers, that is one of the best Charmander arts ever. Artist deserves credit. Yuchi Sawayama. And then, of course, after Charmander Charmeleon is, don't know why there's a Gengar in there, War Turtle and Squirtle. This is one of my favorite Squirtle arts. So simple, just 2 Squirtles chilling. War Turtles, the Ditto that looks like a Squirtle. Yeah, so that's that stack. And then the last stack. The last stack is all of my remaining Pikachus that didn't make it into those 2 pages of Pikachus in my red hollow binder. But these are Pikachus from older sets. Again, I try to have a copy of every Pikachu. That's an impossible feat. These are some of the cheaper ones, but all equally important in terms of becoming a Pikachu master collector. So many here. Hollows, non-hollows, modern, not modern, valuable, not valuable. Then you get into some, I mean, there's so many here. That's one that was used for a Toys R Us promo, but this is not the Toys R Us promo one. Then you get into some Raichus down at the bottom. full arts, Pikachu, flying, surfing, you name it. So those are all my other Pikachus, right? I got to get that into a binder, probably with the starters. That would only make sense. Maybe with some EVs. Okay, so that's the rest of the top shelf. These are just some gifts I've gotten. My brother put a lot of cards into this when I got back into Pokemon, and it was just random assortment of packs and cards, and he actually got this online, and it included like basically one EX card, one holo, or a couple reverse holos, and then some commons, and just was really cool that he thought of me and knew I'd like it getting back into the hobby. Here are some, these are cool. So these are battling coin games from Pokemon. And in each one you get 3, and that's what the back looks like, and then it's a different Pokemon on each coin. So here's a good example. Machop, Weedle, Geodude. Okay, so this is how you open these. You open them like this, and then see inside we have a Zapdos. That one is sick. We have a Seal, and we have a Parasect. Then in this one, we have a Hitmonchan, a Grimer, and a Pinsir. And then this is the one we already showed. So obviously you can collect literally probably all 151 Gen 1 Pokemon. But these are just so cool. I mean, I love old random Pokemon products that you just can't find anymore. This was how people fell in love with Pokemon and why it remains on top of the world today. Like, this is what caused. This is part of it, not just the trading cards. The Game Boy Advance games, the coins, everything had a part in making Pokemon what it is today. So I love to have as many of, the pieces of that as I can. All right, then this is chat books, shout out. Chat books are a great like photo book maker. And these are just pictures of all the card openings and opening nights and memories. We don't need to get into each memory. Trades that have been executed between me and the guys. Me and my wife, PSA submissions. Every photo in here is a memory of the first year back into Pokemon. And yeah, it's just so special. So that's a me item for sure. Here are just random booster boxes, all opened, bulk cards, you name it. Here's more dice and coins from UPCs and ETBs. I love how those look in clear cases. And then this, I won't go too into everything in here, but these are vintage packs. Crystal Guardians, Jungle, Scarlet and Violet, prize packs, Series 5, Trick or Trades, sports cards, random packs, bookmarks, and then you have, this is really cool, you have the Ruby and Sapphire rulebook, Fire Red Leaf Green rulebook. That's kind of the era I fizzled out at. You have actual playmats. This is the Team Rocket Returns like playmat. I'm not going to unfold this thing. This is the Fire Red Leaf Green playmat. This is what we used to battle on. Like, my brother and I as kids would lay out our decks and actually battle. I wouldn't even know how to do that anymore. But these were our original playmats. Card lists from different sets. So this is the Ruby and Sapphire card list, you guys. Like, this is how now you can use the ETB manuals, and now pretty much all of us use an app. But this is how you could and used to keep track of master setting and owning all these cards. All the EX cards there. In the EX rarity tier. Just so cool. The original playmats. Actually, what is this one? Hidden Legends playmat. I mean, guys, these are Yu-Gi-Oh! Rulebook, Yu-Gi-Oh! Playmat. I mean, the memories right now that are just flooding through me, I don't want to, this is going to bore almost everyone here. EX Era Advanced Rulebook. Oh, wait, we were advanced players back in the day, baby. All right, but yeah, anyways, that's all stacked up. I got to now redo all this, but that's part of the fun. Okay, here's all the ETB booklets. Here are all the Pokemon I Choose You, or or Gotta Catch 'Em All books. So these are like books that I'm sure I'm going to enjoy reading someday with my kid. Yeah, just allegedly picked them up from Bennett. Thank you, Bennett. But yeah, these are just cool finds. I mean, you have the official original Pokemon handbook. You have Super Collection album. Oh yeah, this one's sick. This is where you can put all the Series 1 stickers into like a collection book for all 151. And then in the back, there's some stickers here. I'm going to use this to put some of my stickers in, but this is actually, yeah, here, see? There's my sticker there. And there's the sticker here in the actual book. All right. Then I have PSA magazines, posters, PSA submissions, sticker books. Yeah, more posters from poster collections of modern sets. Here are some more. Here are some Topps cards. Or these are actually Nintendo TV series cards. And on the back, I'm sure, oh my lord. On the back, they make a huge poster. So that is really cool. I'm curious why 3 and 4, why Misty and Brock are not a part of the poster. Nonetheless, super cool thing. And then in this binder here, and then I'm going to pull the rest of the binders out to the table and we're going to fly through those. All right, in this binder here, we have Neopets. I told you guys how much Neopets meant to me as a kid. So these are all my Neopets cards. And then, sticking in the Pokemon vein, these are the Mewtwo Strikes Back, I believe. Yeah, Mewtwo Strikes Back cards from Nintendo. Topps. Yep, so these are Topps cards. And then you have Pikachu's Vacation. Also Topps. So these are all Pikachu Vacation ones. The backs are important too, so that's why these are single-sleeved. Okay, back to Mewtwo Strikes Back. I like Pikachu's Vacation better, and then you have like the actual 151 Pokemon. And these are TV Animation Edition. These are Topps as well. So all of these cards are Topps too. Just so cool. Like this is just, again, part of Pokemon history that I love. And you have some of these, like Japanese stickers. Not stickers, just random cards. Okay, and then random Japanese 151. All variants, EXs, standard, and then reverse holo with the Pokeball pattern. So that's all in here. Why are the hits not in here? Well, I believe that's all that's in here. Okay, and then some Celebrations cards. Okay, so why are all the Japanese 151 hits not in there? We will get there as I go through the rest of the binders. All right, you guys, the binders. This is going to look like a lot. Trust me, we're going to fly through it. They're already even pre-opened and unzippered. I understand this has been a long video. Okay, in here we have our 151 master set. I need another copy of the Blastoise. I do have the Blastoise in a CGC 10, but I do want another copy just so I don't have a blank spot there. But you got the Zardyboy, you got the Venusaur. I like to binder this set not in card ID number order, but in the connected artwork order. And then the reason that the 3 starters are not across the top and then connecting down is Charmander is actually the only one that's looking up toward Charmeleon and Charizard. Squirtle, I kind of look at Squirtle as like on the beach, and then Wartortle deeper in the ocean, and then Blastoise at like the depths of the sea. And then similarly, I just feel like Bulbasaur is better top down, but I do feel like Charmander is better top up. So that is why I bindered it that way, but it is a master set of 151. All the IRs, all the full arts, all the promos, all the other promos, and then any spot where you see not a card is a reverse holo that I'm missing. So I have many of them. I just need to get the rest. Not a massive priority because I know I can. But yeah, that's that. And then at the end of this, I do have the Japanese 151 hits in a similar fashion, right? Going up and down. I need a Blastoise and a Charizard. But the rest of the IRs I have, and then the full arts are actually box hits. So the full arts are a little harder to naturally get in Japanese than English. And then obviously I have a lot of work to do with the SIRs. But yeah, this is essentially, guys, my 151. Oh, and then in one pack, I did get a Tangela. The only reason I keep these together, this one is Korean, I believe, the Bellsprout Master Ball. But these two cards I kept just because they were in one pack, like right after each other. So I got the Master Ball Tangela with the Tangela Art Rare in one singular pack. So just thought that was cool. Statistically hard to do. Okay, that's 151. Now, let's see what's in this one. All right, so this is Gym Challenge and Gym Heroes. Again, I have a holo only binder. So this is all the non-holo rares, uncommons, and commons of Gym Heroes. Some are in first edition. Actually, many are going to be in first edition in all of the next three binders you see. First edition, first edition, first edition, first edition. I mean, we opened a lot, allegedly. Most of these are childhood cards, but we opened a lot of first edition packs back before they were unobtainable. So here's Gym Heroes. My progress on Gym Heroes, I guess. And then here's Gym. And in Gym Heroes, there was a ton of trainer cards. Here's a first edition Misty's Wrath with a Psyduck cameo. Pretty cool. And then you get to, in like a first edition Erica or Charity. So some really cool cards in here. Then you get to Gym Challenge, right? Again, with the many are first edition comment. It's just interesting to see. That was not intentional. It's just shocking how many were in first edition. First edition Blaine's Charmander right there. This is again Gym Challenge. I love this card. Squirtle cameo, Misty's Tears from Gym Challenge. Okay, and then a lot of room to fill with potentially base set 2 or legendary collection. So that's that binder. All right, what do we got in the yellow binder? Yellow binder is base set. Fossil and Jungle, I believe. So here's base set. Right there. Base set right there. A lot of trainers in base set as well. Base set energies. And then here's my signed Super Potion from when I was a kid. Again, you can never forget where he came from. Then you have Shadowless. These are all Shadowless cards from base set. And then again, there's Shadowless First Edition. I'm not pursuing a master set in that yet, but who knows? There's a Shadowless Energy. You can tell if it's a Shadowless Energy or not by if it shows 1999 Wizards only versus, let's see if I can show you here. Okay, there is, hold on, let's try and figure this out. 95, 96, 98, Nintendo. And then the Shadowless one is 95. Yeah, so if it has a 99 before the Nintendo, it's a Shadowless Energy. If it stops at 98, it is not a Shadowless Energy. That is what I found out. Let me know if that's true or not, but that is what someone told me. They also do look a little bit different. Okay, but then you get to Jungle. So these are all the non-holo rares and beyond for Jungle. Jungle is basically complete, many of which are first edition. It is a smaller set. There is the gold bordered Mewtwo. I forget how you got this, whether it was in a magazine or not, but it doesn't say promo anywhere. It is still the 56 out of 64, but it is just a gold bordered Meowth. I think I said Mewtwo, I meant Meowth. This could be like a Red Cheeks Pikachu thing where it's in packs, or it could be like a magazine promo, but it doesn't say promo. So there's that. Here's a first edition Pikachu. Okay, then you get into Fossil. Here's our Fossil Master Set. A couple big boys there, the Gengar, the Dragonite. And again, somehow our childhood Gengar in first edition is a CGC 9.5, somehow. But we do have the normal unlimited version in here. Fossil is basically done. And then, okay, then I did put in base set 2 here. So I have base set 2 cards to add, so I need to add those. But here's base set 2, which did not have a first edition variant. And that is this binder. Okay. Then in the blue binder, we have Team Rocket. A couple of big first edition juicers up top. Starting with the non-hollow rares, going into the uncommons and commons. This is Team Rocket. First edition non-hollow Rainbow Energy. First edition full metal energy. So yeah, just super cool. And then you get into Neo Genesis, a lot of first editions here. Same with Neo. Wait till you see Neo Discovery. Allegedly that's all I opened, or apparently that's all I opened with my brother. Wait till you see it. So here's Neo Genesis. Actually rather impressive how many of these cards we had. Like almost completed master sets, other than the hollows. Okay, wait till you see the next page. So this is Neo Discovery, Espeon, Houndoom, right? And the Neos, and actually all the sets through WotC basically had reprints of the hollows in non-hollow rare form. So that's one thing to note. Wait till you see this next page. Or maybe I'm bugging, or maybe just, oh yeah, literally almost all these are first edition. So they're not complete, but they're like, so many of them are first edition. First edition, first edition. Is there a card on this screen right now not first edition? Nope. Okay, a couple over here. But and not even to flex you guys. I did, like the fact that as a kid we were just opening first edition Neo Discovery packs, every single report card that we got A's on, like it was nothing, is just crazy to me. And to still have these cards is just so cool. Okay, then you get into where it gets a little bit more sparse. Neo Revelation. Arguably like better cards. But we just opened less of them, and what's funny is they're now even harder to find than Neo Discovery and Neo Genesis. So it's remained harder to find and open Neo Revelation and Neo Destiny, and it looks like that was the case back in the day. So here's more Neo Quagsire. That's who's in the new Kangaskhan art in Destined Rivals. Okay, so that's Neo Revelation. Now you get to Neo Destiny. Some awesome light cards here. I love the light cards. Just because I feel like dark Pokemon were almost always a thing. But then like in Neo, was it Revelation too? I literally think in Neo Destiny is when they came out with light cards. Or light Pokemon variants. It's an awesome Dark Omanite. This light Jolteon is one of my favorite cards of all time. How the Jolteon is hugging the Togepi, and there's a Rattata sleeping next to it. It's actually fairly expensive, but it also happens to be one of my favorite arts of all time, and I have a near mint copy of it. So I'm really, really happy about that. This is one where I could see myself either getting this one graded or getting a first edition print in a graded copy. Obviously, we use this light ninetails as kindling for a bonfire. So here's the rest of Neo Destiny as much as we have. A little claymation live action Psyduck. Some more of the unknowns. L, S, T, and V. Exp Al. I don't know anything about that card. Lucky Stadium first edition. Okay, and that's that binder. Now the rest we'll literally take 1 second on. These two, I believe, are Obsidian Flames because that was the first set I ever opened getting back into the hobby. Let's see. Yep. So this is just an Obsidian Flames master set. Obviously, it's in an Obsidian Flames binder. Every normal card and reverse hollow Darumaka, which I've now come to love. But yeah, other than the hits that I've sold off and some I've kept, this was my original master set of Obsidian Flames. I'm just going to keep this. Yeah, this is what kind of got me back into Pokemon. All right, this I believe is my e-reader binder. Okay, so this is going to start with Expedition Base. I took out the hollows and reverse hollows, put them in my red hollow binder. But these are going to be some of the non-hollow rares. This is Expedition Base cards. Great artwork all the way throughout. Here's Aquapolis. Aquapolis Espeon. Seadra. Kingdra. And that's a non-hollow rare. Non-hollow rare Ninetales. I mean, even in non-hollow form, you guys, these are just pretty awesome and rare cards. Here's more Aquapolis, and then here's my Skyridge page. One of the most expensive set, if not the most expensive set ever, and like very short printed. This one's foreign. Shout out Frank, appreciate the gift. But yeah, a lot of sweet Skyridge cards. I think only one page of Skyridge cards. Okay, and then I believe this is Ruby and Sapphire. I love Torchic. We have a couple Trico variants. This is a Crystal Guardians Delta Species Psychic Trico, but I just thought it fit next to the Reverse Hollow Trico, which turns into Sceptile. You got the Mudkip lineup. Gardevoir, just some awesome Ruby and Sapphire cards, and then you get into Sandstorm. So this is as far as we collected into the Sandstorm. Look at some of these. Espeon, Steelix, awesome iconic Steelix art. Cyndaquil, Quilava. We need Typhlosion in there. It's a bummer. Pichu. Here's Dragon Frontiers. Wow, with a hollow, why is that not in my hollow binder? We have a hollow Rosalia. Reverse hollow Corphish. Okay, missed the mark on some of these. Here's your Vibrava. Trapinch to Vibrava to Flagon. Oh, 6 Salamence. And that is a non-hollow rare Salamence from Dragon Frontiers. Wow. I just love making these videos every year because it just gives me a chance to go through some of this with you guys. Oh, what is this set? Great artwork, but this is all in the EX era. And then here, I believe, is fire red leaf green. And that is, I think, where we ended. So let's see here. Yep, and that is the end of our original collecting journey. Here is my original childhood binder that I pulled out of the closet during COVID as I got back into Pokemon. I've now, you're going to see a lot of things here. Old sleeves, old top loaders. I used to draw my own like energy cards. This looks like Yu-Gi-Oh! I have since put in a master set of the Trick or Trade cards, but now you're going to start to see my original binder. Any card that was in good quality got pulled out and added to the specific set, master set binders that I just went through right there. Or if it was a holo, it got put into my wall frame or holo binder. These are the leftovers, but the leftovers will remain untouched and just super cool. I mean, you still have some rare cards in here. These are all like legit. I mean, that's a fake sticker. Team Rocket Returns, Magby. These are all, this is what I essentially, you'll see where I pulled things out, right? But like, this is how I found my childhood binder during COVID, but it was just chock full. And it's fun to see like how I put, there seems to be not very much a rhyme or reason to how I organized it. I mean, we have an Exodia, we had the Sphinx, one of the 3 Sphinxes. Red Eyes Bee Chick, Armed Dragon level 13, level 3. The Harpy Lady, 1, 2, and 3. 1,000 Needles, 2,000 Needles. I mean, even these Yu-Gi-Oh cards take me way back. So many Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But, all right. So, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. And then I did purchase a collection. So some of these are in a collection purchase, and actually, these are still mine. Yep. These are all still mine. Now we get into some of Wall Lead's Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which I added into here just with extra sleeves. That is mine. Thielen the Great Sphinx. I should really take the Sphinxes out, because that was my blue childhood sleeves I used, blue and red sleeves. Crazy how you never forget some of this. All right, more Yu-Gi-Oh, more Yu-Gi-Oh. You guys are like, who cares? Maybe you do care. What the heck is this? Metabat, Big Eye. All right, and then this was actually a collection buy I did. So this was my sister-in-law's brother-in-law. Figure that out. But this binder will always be one of my favorite purchases. I'll cherish it on his behalf. How he stickered it, how he put property of Matt, just how he went about doing this binder. And then he organized everything by energy type, and I pulled out the valuable ones, right? But I tried to keep the integrity of the binder. And you guys can't tell, but there's like 8 cards per sleeve here. Like, it's thick. There are multiple copies of every card you see. And there's sometimes I've even pulled out like gems behind the Seadra. Like, I cannot describe to you how many cards are stuck behind the Seadra. And that's every sleeve, guys. Like, massively, massively thick spots. Fully maximized binder. Clearly, he was a jungle, fossil, and base set opener back in the day. But you have like first edition Mr. Fuji's. I mean, there's like cool stuff here. So many trainers, so many energy cards. And again, there's like 10 per sleeve. But this is how he did his binder. And then he had like a Topps card, some Yu-Gi-Oh! First edition Yu-Gi-Ohs. Where I don't even know if my copies were first edition. Just for the fun of it, let's see if we can find that hand. Oh, I love that card, Scapegoat. Okay, so I doubt we'll be able to find that. Oh, here's the hand. This is Wall Leads, not first edition, and now we have it in first edition over here with the gold corner. But yeah, this was a collection purchase, And honestly, I just love how he did the binder almost better than I like my own, but mine will always be special still. So those are the binders. Okay. All right, so there you guys have it. That is the entirety of my collection. I know it's like almost a 2-hour video. It'll be fun to look back on. I hope you guys enjoyed some of this. If you made it this far, thank you. We're almost 2,000 subscribers. Please subscribe. The values are shown on the screen in subcategories of what we just ran through for those of you that are curious, or like, what does everything he just ran through, what would it approximately be valued at? I have everything I own, most of my cards, slabs, and sealed product that I own into several different apps, so I actually know their values. Some of like the garage sale items, childhood cards, all of the thousands of commons and uncommons, that's not in there. So there will be like a miscellaneous category question mark at the end. But a lot of like obviously the higher end stuff, I do like to track their values. So that is shown on the screen if you're curious, but hopefully you enjoyed seeing my collection in its entirety, right? Getting a little look into my Pokemon cave, if you will, my slabs, my walls, my displays. Hopefully this was fun for you guys. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. Most importantly, be a good person. Tell us you love them. Nundark out. Peace.